Welcome back, everyone. In my last sci-fi video, I showed a team of characters that I painted all white and tried to make them all look somewhat similar. In this video, I'm going to create a team that is all yellow, and I'm going to show you how we do the chipped metal, how we put value on it. Now, I just ordered this character right here from Joy Toy. I was hoping he was going to be a little bit more yellow. He's pretty orange looking, but that's okay. It's a good base color. We'll get some yellow on it and get it a little bit closer to this character. Now this character is already fully painted, and I showed how I painted that in a previous video. I'll try to put a link in the description for that video and maybe put the title on the screen so that you can search that one and watch that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open this guy. This is a very inexpensive character. I believe, I want to say he was $16 possibly on Amazon, and he is it's an army builder character. The army builder characters are a little cheaper because they figure that most people are going to buy a bunch of them to create their army. He comes with a really big gun, a smaller handgun, and then two small hands that have trigger fingers if you're wanting him to hold the guns. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is spray a dull coat on him. Let me grab the can and show you what I'm going to use on him. I'm going to be using Army Painter Matte Varnish. Okay, so I sprayed this guy and these two and even this guy. I sprayed them all with this Army Painter Matte Varnish. I highly, highly recommend this because it takes away the shine. It makes them look more to scale. I think when you see a shiny finish, automatically it looks like plastic and it just doesn't look to scale. It doesn't look real. So by spraying a dull coat over them, man, it really helps. And then too, you'll see where it'll give the paint that we add to it something to stick to. So it almost creates a little bit of a very fine texture so that our acrylic paints will stick to it better. Okay, we're going to start on this guy right here. And we want to add some yellow. We're not going to paint it solid. We're going to leave some of this orange more towards the edges and in the cracks. And we're going to start with saffron yellow. And you can see it actually looks kind of like an orange, but it's lighter. And let me try to find one more yellow, bright yellow. Okay, I've got my palette, which is just a coffee lid Folgers. I don't drink Folgers much anymore. I used to. Now I grind my own coffee beans and drink flavored coffee. So I just saved a bunch of these. Okay. You know, I'm going to start making more sci-fi videos. In the past, I used to always think that I needed to create a really big project in order to create a video. And I really just, you know, some of the videos can just be really small, quick projects. So I'm going to try to really start doing that more often. Okay, so we're starting with the saffron yellow. On this one, we're going to have to work from dark to light. On this one, it's going to be the opposite, just because of the color of the plastic. Yellow is the hardest color, in my opinion, to work with. It takes multiple coats. The easiest is to work light to dark, to go from a really light yellow and slowly build it up. Actually, you could use a white primer and then start adding your yellow, and it's easier. Where on this, we're dealing with this almost a dirty orange color, and we're trying to lighten it. So instead of going with a super light color at first, we're first going to use this color, which actually has quite a bit of orange in it, to give us kind of a base. So we'll just build it up slowly. Hopefully all of that makes sense. So we're doing a thin coat. If it kind of has brush strokes, we're going to be putting multiple layers over it. I can tell a difference painting it though with having that dull coat on there. It really helps the paint to stick. I'll admit I need some new paintbrushes. These are getting pretty old. You can hopefully you can see the difference already. It's a lot of it's a lot of patience, a lot of delicate painting around things. All right, I'll get this first coat put on, and then we'll come back and do some more. It is okay if you get brush strokes. This is just the first coat, and it's thin. We're not trying to go thick. If you go too thick, you're going to fill in the detail. But you don't want your brush strokes to go in every direction. Try to keep it like straight up and down. And it's okay if you get some on the black or on other colors. We'll go back in and touch it up when we're done. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. You can see I'm going over it multiple times. Kind of smooths the paint out. But again, I don't know if you can see how a lot of brush strokes, very streaky, but it's smooth. It's not lumpy. It's still smooth. So, okay, I'll keep working on this and getting all of the yellow parts completely painted. Okay, the first coat is completely done. I'll show you the arm up close. I just wanted to show you how streaky that looks, all the brush strokes. And you'll see there's some paint on the black. Okay, so now that all this is dry, all the yellow, I'm getting my brush wet, and we're going to take more of the same color. Now this time we're going to do a little bit less. Before I was just covering a bunch of it. This time definitely avoiding the cracks and any little detail. We're doing the large flat areas. And obviously the more time you spend painting, the better you're going to get. It's hard at first because you don't achieve the results that maybe you want right away. And it takes a lot of trial and error. And just getting used to working with the paints and the brushes and learning how much water to add or how dry you want it to be. There's a lot to it. And the only way to truly learn it is by doing it. Alright, I'll keep going over all of the yellow, and then we'll come back in with some lighter yellow maybe and do some highlights. Okay, that coat is dry. Now we'll take bright yellow. Okay, he's really starting to look good. Now I'll show you on this container here, I did a wash. I mixed white with the yellow, and I wanted to have like a sun faded look to it. So I'm going to do a little bit of that just on the high points, not everything, just try to hit some of the highlights. So I'm mixing some of the yellow with it. Okay, then we'll add a bunch of water to it. Okay, let's set him aside and we'll work on these two. Now these two already have a light color on them. I actually did some sponging of a dark brown on there just to give it a rust look. But we need to put more value on him. So now let's go to bright yellow. We'll actually mix in a little bit of this saffron yellow. You can see the difference already. Hopefully you can. We're covering most of the yellow, but we're leaving some of the lighter yellow showing. Now you'll notice I keep going over it because there are brush strokes, and that's okay. You just don't want those brush strokes to be thick. You want the next layer of paint to fill in those brush strokes. And with every coat you add, it gets more and more solid. It really comes down to just adding a lot of layers. So it just takes time and patience. Alright, I'll keep building up the layers on this, and then we'll come back and do some chipping and some rust. Okay, I made a wash of burnt sienna and a lot of water, and I've just been going around the bottom edges of things. You can see I did it on this one. Okay, I even put some on the bottom of some of his armor. Okay, now we'll let's go in with some gunmetal gray. I want to paint the feet on these two with gunmetal gray. And the gunmetal gray is from Ammo. Okay, now I'm taking that gunmetal gray and touching up where maybe I got yellow on the gray that was already on there. I'll show you. Like his kneecaps. We just need to clean that up. Okay, now we're going to take panel liner, and this is from Tamiya, and we're going to go over the details on some of this, just over the gunmetal gray, just to darken it up so it matches our other characters a little bit more. And then our last step will be to add some chipping with a dark brown. And now we'll just do some dry brushing, and that'll bring out the highlights. Okay, for the dry brush paint, we're using silver from Ammo, and it's for dry brushing. It's a really thick paint. This jar will probably last me my entire life. It's really thick, And then you just brush off the excess so it's really dry. And then you just go over the edges of things. You can see I'm just, you know what, I'll zoom in for you. You can see I just did the edge right there. And we'll even work on this guy. There's a lot of detail that we can bring out by dry brushing it, even on the helmet. Let's take some red. It's a metallic red. And we're going to go over his eyes. Okay, I think these guys are done. Now, let's quick move on to this guy. He doesn't need a lot, but I know that I want that red skull and wings to be gunmetal gray. And then we'll put some silver highlights on it. And then I'm going to take a sponge with yellow and do some chipping over the black. And then we'll take our dark brown and do a lot of chipping around the edges of everything so these all match. You know, first I am going to spray him with the matte finish. Then we'll paint him. Okay, I didn't do anything to the motorcycle, and that may be for another video, but at least all the figures are finished. Let me take the camera off and give you a closer look. All right, well, the team is done. I'll paint the bike at a later date. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned some new tips and techniques. And I hope maybe you're less afraid to take a brand new action figure and paint it, to junk it up, rust it up a little bit. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.